Hello guys. NAT is one of the most important topic in the CCNA. Whether you are in the exam or sitting in an interview, you will be definitely asked about it. In this video, I am going to cover configuration of NAT. I'm expecting you have already covered the theoretical part. If you haven't covered it yet, I will highly recommend you to visit the website PacketMentor.com. In the search bar, you will write the NAT, then you can click the topic, and in the NAT section, you will see the 5 options available. In the first section, you can find all the theory. Then simulator will help you to understand and visualize the concept, which is very helpful for configuration as well as in the troubleshooting. Then in the quiz section, you can evaluate your understanding. And the fourth one, my favorite one, hands-on lab. Without any configuration, without any software installation, you can do any configuration. And this feature works perfectly fine on the mobile phone as well. And the last one, the packet tracer lab. So let's get back to our topic. So first of all, why we need NAT? Our LAN are configured with the private IP addresses. And we know that private IP addresses are not routable over the public internet. So we need a public IP address from ISP which help us to communicate over the internet. But how our internal devices get the public IP address? And they can communicate over the internet. So NAT helps us to do this. Another benefit NAT provides us, we already know that IPv4 addresses are depleting. We are out of IPv4 addresses. Therefore, IPv6 addresses are introduced. But thanks to the NAT, it gives us opportunity to get familiar with the IPv6 version before immediately jumping to it. A very important thing to remember in the NAT that NAT has two parts of configuration. One configuration we done over the gateway, and the second part of configuration we do on the interfaces. In the troubleshooting and in your normal lab, you remember about gateway configuration, but you forget about the interface configuration. So what you do, either you will totally forget it or you assign opposite role to the interface. The inside role to the outside interface and outside role to the inside interface. In either case, your NAT will not work. There are different flavors of NAT: static NAT, dynamic NAT, and NAT overload, which is also known as PAT, port address translation. In this first lab, we are going to cover the static NAT. So let's start with the configuration, but before that, let me explain this topology. In this topology, we have an office where different devices want to access an external server available over the internet. But we know that our private IP addresses are not routable over the internet. So in this case, what we'll do, we use the NAT, we translate our private IP address into one of the available public IP address, and through that public IP address, we access the server. So before NAT configuration, if PC2 want to ping server, let me show what happened. Ping 10.10.10.2 top a bit fast forward. So you can see request timeout. Your gateway do not know about 10.10.10. So it sends the packet to the ISP using the default route. ISP send the packet over here, but traffic when come back, your ISP do not know anything about the source 192.168.1.0 because on ISP you do not configure static route or default gateway. ISPs only know the public IP addresses. So let me show you how NAT provides the solution. Let's start with the configuration on the gateway. Enable config T IP NAT inside. So this is how NAT configuration start. Then question mark, you define the source. In case of static IP address, question mark, you pick static from here. Then question mark, you have to define the inside IP address of the local device, which is 192.168.1.2 in our case. Then question mark, then inside global IP address, the IP address which is going to represent our device over the internet. So we have a pool of IP addresses available. Dot one, dot two is already used, so dot three is available. So I'm going to translate our internal IP address with this IP address 103.13.148.3. Enter. So this is first part of the NAT configuration is completed. Now we have to configure the NAT on the interfaces. We have to tell which interface belongs to inside network and which interface is connected with the ISP. So our G01 belongs to the internal. So interface G0/0, G00 belongs to outside. Yes, okay. So the command is IP NAT outside. And similarly, interface G0/1, IP NAT inside. So now our configurations are complete. Now let's test whether our PC2 able to communicate with the server or not. The same command I'm going to use, ping enter on top and fast forward. So now you can see that our communication is started. Now what is happening? We haven't configured any default route. We haven't updated our routing protocols. So why we are able to communicate now? So what is happening? PC2 PC2 is sending packet to the gateway. Gateway is translating the PC2 IP address into 103.13.148.3. This dot 3 sends the packet to ISP using the default route. ISP knows that 10.10.10.2 is connected with one of its interface. So it sends the packet here. Then the reply goes back to inside global IP address dot 3. ISP knows this address. ISP sends this address back to the gateway, and gateway has the translation table. Gateway exactly know that if dot 3 come, it is actually belong to the PC number 2. So let me show you now the verification command of translation. Show IP NAT translation. So now you can see that 103, which is our inside global IP address, is translated to 192.168.1.2, which is our inside local IP address given to the device. So let's try to ping one more time and see this translation table again. Go to the gateway, same command. Now you can see that our ICMP packet is being translated for this communication. So this is how you configure the static NAT. So if you want to communicate more devices over the internet, you do the same configuration for all of your devices. Ping 10.10.10.2, it will fail because there is no configuration available for converting our .3 internal IP address, our local IP address, to inside global IP address. So what we are going to do, we are going to write the commands for PC1 as well. Config T, IP, NAT, inside, source static, 192.168.1.3 to 103.13.148.4 this time. And now if PC4 want to communicate over the internet, you can see that fast forwarding it. Now our ping is successful, and if you see do show IP NAT translation, you will find that your inside local IP address for PC1 is also translated to inside global IP address. So now both of your PC can communicate over the internet. This is how we configure the static NAT.